Hi guys, we're back at it again. My hubby is helping me out.
I just want to know what their recommended voltage was for this, because I know that, yeah, that's definitely way too low. That's what I thought.
So what are you doing, babe?
That's way too. So right there, I was just adjusting voltage speed.
Zoomed in on you now. On your hands.
Or just needle depth on this one.
Those sexy hands and arms.
Okay, so first rule of tattooing is fucking, you have to adjust needle depth, because if you go too fucking far down, you're gonna get blowouts. Blowouts mean that when you're doing a line, if it's too deep, you'll puncture your skin too deep, and the line will kind of blow out. It'll kind of explode, right? So like, you got to adjust needle depth accordingly, because you only want to go, I think it's like a width of a nickel, I think is almost, or is it the width of a dime? I can't remember. Like, you barely really want to get across the surface. Like, you want to get deep enough to keep the ink, but you don't want to get it deep enough to fucking hurt the person. That's the golden rule, right? Everybody's gonna bleed from a tattoo, just naturally, a little bit, you know what I mean, from being scratched, of course. But you also want to adjust needle depth, because what you don't want is for the needle,
Hold on, right there.
right, is barely out. But if I were to rotate it in, see how much farther the needle comes out?
Oh yeah.
Right, which means that we'd barely have to be touching, we'd have to watch the needle as it's like really kind of touching the skin, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that. We want it to be able to adjust the needle depth, so that way if we do happen to like
Shadow
brush
archive.
too close. Huh?
I said shadow archive.
Yeah, no shit. So that's aren't good.
Okay.
So, this right here is for grip. So like when we get really like, you know, ready, because we don't want to waste this. We're gonna grip it up, because we're gonna buy some more of this.
Okay.
We want to like change it out.
Okay.
We want to make sure you keep your needles clean always, one use only.
Okay.
Okay. So like once a liner's been touched on one body, that liner's only touching that body, and you want to make sure that like if you have to like switch between your things, that you're like keeping your objects clean.
Okay.
I think most people might try to say that you need a new liner every time you take it out, but I mean, yeah, if you want to waste liner needles, fucking the shit's not fucking cheap. And pretty much that's it. You know what I mean? Like right now you're just practicing on this stuff, but like rule number one is you always want to wash your hands before you start tattooing. Put gloves on before you open anything.
Okay.
Right? Like gloves, wash hands, gloves.
Then
Make
do
sure
ink.
that ink's kind of one of those things that like after you're gloved up and ready to go.
I know. So like, how do you? What's like the stuff to do it?
Oh, so like these right here, what you would do is you get some Vaseline and like you'd stick it on,
the
stick it
bottom,
on the
like,
bottom and then stick it down, so that way when
Yeah.
you're dipping your stuff,
It's not
it's not moving
moving.
around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've seen
So
videos like that.
right. But it's also right. So shaders,
Does it
liners.
tell you what in the back of it? Or you just gotta know by the needle?
Yeah. You're gonna looking at the grouping of the needles. There's gonna be like fucking like 4 or 5, or more than that. Actually, there's probably about 5 needles. About because a 5 needle shader. But you'll look at it because if you look at the tip there, there's more needles up at the very top. This one is like a small grouping of like 2.
Sorry, babe.
No, you're good. And this is like a small grouping of like 2.
Okay.
So, shaders, liner. Shaders is like obviously for like shading stuff right here. But yeah.
Thanks, honey bunny.
You don't want to ever
And then
go
what's
over
over
13.
there? The pedal?
Yeah. So that's the power supply.
Okay.
This right here is the pedal, which when you click it, you make contact.
Oh, it starts moving. Okay.
So that's why, like, if you've ever noticed when you got your tattoo, it's like down here. So that way, you know what I mean. They can be done and then lift their foot and then. Stop.
But isn't there some with all the pedals?
No, I mean, no. Most people's every tattoo I've ever gotten has been a foot pedal. I've never like seen like a hand one. That'd be a pain in my ass to have to like go back to every time I needed to do something. But yeah, you know what I mean. But you also like key thing is here is when you're pressing on this. This is pretty thin, right? Kind of like skin. You wouldn't want to go all the way through it. You know what I mean? It's almost kind of like keeping a light hand.
I think they say if it's see through, then you're good, right? Or something like that.
What do you mean if you're see through? If it's see through?
Like at this?
No.
Or is that when they're doing fruit? Because I seen the videos where like people are trying to practice, and like they say if it's once you peel the skin, and if it's like
through it,
then
blown out,
then it's too much.
Yeah.
Like you're pushing too much pressure on it.
What I'm saying is you'll get ink blowout through the back here. You know what I mean? Like you'll feel it like look how thick that is. Like the needle is almost, you know what I mean, when it comes out it's just as thick as that. So you're pretty much like wanting to like get it. And like another thing too, like when giving you a tip is like when you're trying to do line work, when you got a glove on, to put a little bit of Vaseline on your hand, so that way when you're like gliding down the surface, like if you're doing a straight line, it's easy. Your hand just drags, so it has Vaseline on it. So you can do like one straight line versus trying to keep your hand straight. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to keep your hand, like, in a straight line. Versus if you place your hand, you know what I mean? Or, like, whatever you're doing, you drag, it's an easier... It's like, times it's like a straighter line, I think.
Thanks, babe.